Hey, what's up, everybody? It's another episode of D-Star Show, man. And we live tonight with Dope Living TV. Hey, what's up, Jordan? Hey, man. Hey, y'all, we got, man, another family member of the D-Star Show, man. Y'all haven't seen in a long time, man. Hey, what's going on, Yada?
Hey guys, how's it
Hey,
going?
and hey, Mo, I'm gonna let you introduce your team, man. Since Greg ain't here yet.
It's cool. That's cool. Hey, what's going on, family?
Going on.
Glad to be on, y'all. Gina, she's in the back room waiting on us.
Hey.
Hey,
Greg, Dope Living TV. She'll be in
How's
that back
everybody
room.
doing?
great. How are you?
Awesome.
And Christopher Lane, Chris Mills Lane. In the back room waiting.
Yeah, if y'all guys don't know, man, these are big sisters right there, the Dope Living TV team, man. Hey, I catch them every day. They're in there every day of the week, man. 7 Central, right? On Dope Living TV on Facebook Live, YouTube Live. You guys
LinkedIn.
stop, man. Hey, but guys, we got a good one for you tonight, man. How we start our show, and we have a lot of people write in with listener letters, man. And we got one tonight, man. And we're gonna let Yetta read the letter for us, and we're gonna start off with the relationship roundtable that way.
All right. So it says, "Dear D Star Show, my name is Lisa from Atlanta, and I need some advice on a tough situation. Here's what's going on. I have a male friend whom I've known since I was 9 years old. We dated in high school, but remained close friends after breaking up. While in college, I met my husband, and we now have a happy marriage and a beautiful family. Recently, my husband was looking at old pictures of me and my childhood friend from prom. My friend came home to visit his mom, who lives next to my mom. My husband and I ran into him while leaving my mom's house. My friend gave me a big hug and I introduced him to my husband. They talked briefly and then my husband and I left. On the way home, my husband started questioning me about my friend. After hours of back and forth, my husband gave me an ultimatum: choose him or my childhood friend. I love my husband, but I feel torn. Should I have to choose? How should I handle this? I'd really appreciate the advice. Sincerely, Lisa."
So
Greg
me and
said
Jordan,
he's
hey,
Oh, wow.
hey, so me and Jordan, hey, we had this letter for a while, man, and we were like, this is the perfect time to bring it, man. When we got our Dope Living family with us, so. Hey, since y'all guess we're gonna let Gina start off first. Go ahead, Gina.
Yeah, after
Look,
Greg is
it
backstage.
is February 11th. She better hold on until Valentine's Day. Get that right, girl.
sound like he was cutting loose because the cuffing season was over. I don't know.
Man. Hey, since Yetta is the other female on the show, Yetta, hey, what would you do?
I feel like it was so much missing from the letter because it's like, why is he giving you an ultimatum because you ran into him outside of your mom's house? Like, was there extended conversation going on?
I don't know.
That's a heavy.
You got it.
In everything, I think what happened was they dated in high school. So they
But
dated in high school.
But my question would be, why is there
What's
an
the
issue?
hostility?
Yeah, what's the hostility all of a sudden? When this wasn't a question before, you mad because you actually saw the pictures from high school? Is there like an underlying insecurity we don't know about? But all in all, if there's none of that and it's just straightforward what she said, I feel like, what's the ultimatum? Just give him what he wants at that point. Like, okay, I choose you because.
Yeah, and I'm thinking there may be this friendship is still going on. That it has to be for him to have an ultimatum like that. That friendship must still be going on.
But sis, he's a grown ass man. Okay.
And you taught she introduced him.
I mean,
at the mom's house.
If the relationship was one, you shouldn't have to worry about nothing like that.
Can I interject real quick?
Go ahead, Doc.
Can Dr. Love Lane interject real quick?
Love Lane.
He is doing something. So we got to look at the bigger picture, right? Okay. For him to give her an ultimatum off after an introduction, he's doing something he's not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me get mine.
It's deeper. It's deeper than them dating in high school and him giving her a hug and all of that. It's way deeper than that.
Look. If y'all don't, number one, hey man, family, I love y'all, man. Good to be sitting with y'all again. For real. Hey man, look, October to February, It's cuffing season. All right. Now, hold on. I ain't finished. October to February is cuffing season. February 13th to be exact. Okay, it's cuffing season. All right. You got to cut them off at the 13th. You got to cut them off, okay? Because you don't want to be giving somebody that you just was using as a belly warmer through the winter.
This her husband. This ain't her boyfriend. You dumping your wife for Valentine's Day?
He's not really her husband. He just playing. He's just playing. They got married. They got married in October. They get divorced February the 13th. I'm telling you, it's cuffing season, okay? He ain't real. Trust me, it ain't real. I'm gonna shut up.
Hey,
what up, Jordan Nick? What's up, Jordan Nick?
What up, y'all?
Jordan, hey, me and Jordan talked about this, man, and I feel the man feel like, hey, look, y'all had relations, man, and y'all still finna kick it and be friends. That's like a hell no in my book, you know what I'm saying?
But that's not what she said. She didn't say they was kicking it. She said that he don't even live there. He came to visit his mother.
But in a man's world, y'all had relations one point in time.
But men's world don't be reality. We still gotta focus on reality.
Why you say all these men on here?
But I'm just saying,
because the women's reality, what we think ain't always reality either. There's reality. There's what the woman thinking, and the man thinking. Somewhere in there is the truth.
I love it, Yetta. So I'm gonna ask you a question, Yetta. So your man, a girl that he used to beat down, y'all, now they still friends and they kicking it, and you cool with that?
So that's not what the letter said. But
answer the question, Yada.
We got that detail letter. So
we have to beat this question up because we don't know all the details.
We don't know all the details, but realistically,
Jordan, please step in, Jordan.
I was literally just watching something earlier, and it said that people be so focused on stopping the cheating when that's literally something that you can't stop. So why are you finna stress yourself out about what somebody is doing when you can stop them from doing what they want to do?
You know what? The ultimatum got me. The ultimate. Don't give me an ultimatum. I don't care whether he feel this way or that way, or it looks like an elephant and it's a duck. I don't care. Don't give me an ultimatum because I'm gonna pull your card now.
That's right.
Please let the professional speak. Jordan, please.
Jordan, come on. Hey, you on mute, Jordan. Hey, you on mute.
Yo, go ahead, Nick. I'm gonna let Nick go in there.
It's good now?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying you're supposed to side with your mate no matter what. And
I ain't gonna agree with you.
I feel like I agree. It do seem like it's something missing from the letter. Because I don't see why would he turn aggressive just off meeting him. Something had to have happened.
He seemed insecure. And if the man was fine, he probably was like, absolutely the fuck not.
Hey, Nick. I think something was going on before the letter hit. Like you said, it might have been something going on in the relationship that made him go hostile immediately. You know, it could have been they just finished arguing about somebody.
That too, but you know, there's always an underlining factor to it. And for him to crash out like that off an introduction, it's something happening.
So but remember in the letter it said he went through the pictures, so there was something in those pictures he didn't like.
She said it was prom pictures.
It was
all hugged up and cuddled up for prom and looking nice. It was like that's a nice, decent.
She might have been a virgin before prom.
Right.
Anyway, Jordan.
But after prom, it wasn't the pictures. It was the big hug he gave her.
Mm-hmm. Hey, girl, you remember that night?
Ain't said a word. Jordan, please.
Hey, the letter is a little vague, and that's okay because I'm assuming that the gentleman is probably upset about his lady or his wife at this point keeping a friendship for so long, and then probably in this man's mind, he's thinking that there is still a amount of attraction between those two people. Because, you know, when we talk about things like prom, you know, high school sweethearts, dances, and things like that, those aren't typically forgettable experiences for most people. Because if I ask all of you right now, you can tell me who you went to prom with, whether it's your senior prom, junior prom, or whatever the case may be. And I think that, again, we don't know But facial cues, body language, and things like that can determine a lot when it comes down to somebody feeling attracted to another person. I'm not in agreement with the ultimatum just based off of these circumstances.
Yes.
But what I will say is most men are probably not comfortable with their wives, girlfriends, serious companions having a significant amount of male friends, and especially those male friends that are like sentimental to this point. And it doesn't necessarily have to be to the point where you're going to assume the worst of your partner. But again, I'm a firm believer that men and women can't be platonic friends. So that's a whole perspective that I'll give you, because in reality, people say that you can be platonic friends, but we can't read each other's minds. So there's no way for you to tell what that other person's thinking. They can say whatever they want to say, but there's no way to tell what that other person is thinking. And just like you can feel tension in the air, there is some science to you probably being able to feel sexual attraction or sexual tension in the air around the person. But what I will say is it's very childish if you're giving somebody an ultimatum based off of limited information, and that's what we have, limited information here. But now, had the young lady in question and the young man in question, not her husband, ever been intimate together, and that was disclosed at some point, then ain't no way. Ain't no way. And the method behind it is you never know when someone wants to try to rekindle those feelings. You don't know. So as a husband, and I think just as a man in general, being protective of things that you have, because the Bible says that that your woman is yours and you're hers. Being protective of the things you have is not a problem. But if that's something that he said and he got a bunch of pushback for it, he's already made the wrong decision in marrying whoever he's with. Because like Nick said, if you're going to disagree with me about something that you feel is so minute, then why is it a big deal?
So Jordan, hey, let me ask you this, man. So evidently my conversation on cover season didn't mean nothing to y'all at all, right?
Yeah, listen. We talk about marriage at this point. I get cuffing season. I'm not against you on the cuffing season rules, but it's deeper than that. Once you decide you want to be with a person forever, that's a lot of commitment, and you don't want to mess that up by potentially opening the door to have your past come back to you and fuck up everything that you done work hard to maintain.
I forgot, Chris. We can say fuck on this show.
Yeah, we can.
Hey, what I will say is, because it's Black History Month and going forward, Black folks, we need to stop using the N-word in public. That's been my biggest thing. We need to stop using the N-word in public, and I'm gonna let y'all get back to that.
I do have to warn y'all never. HRs have been warning us about N-word. But we have came up with some new ways, to saying it without saying it. But
gotcha.
Oh, we can get a whole dictionary of ways to say it. Go ahead.
I'm trying to remember, in the letter, did it say how long they were married?
Let me go back and see.
Hey, you want to read it again? Because we got a couple of listeners that jumped on late. We can read it.
Yeah, I can read it again. It says, my name is Lisa from Atlanta, and I need some advice on a tough situation. Here's what's going on. I have a male friend from whom I've known since I was 9 years old. We dated in high school, but remained close friends after breaking up. While in college, I met my husband. We now have a happy marriage and a beautiful family. Recently, my husband was looking at old pictures of me and my childhood friend from prom. My friend came home to visit his mom, who lives next to my mom. My husband and I ran into him while leaving my mom's house. My friend gave me a big hug, and I introduced him to my husband. They talked briefly, and then my husband and I left. On the way home, my husband started questioning me about my friend. After hours of back and forth, my husband gave me an ultimatum: choose him or my childhood friend. I love my husband, but I feel torn. Should I have to choose? How should I handle this? I'd appreciate your advice, Lisa.
Hey, before
I didn't hear it right.
Hey, before we go, I know we got some comments though. Let me just address these real quick. So the first
see the one that said, "Yes, speak Jordan."
It's tax season. They cuff until April 15th.
Amen. Amen. Ain't going no damn well.
That's great.
They went a little longer than you, bro.
We got a secondary comment. This says, Jordan, yes, Jordan, spot on. I don't know who Brianna Love is, but I appreciate that. And then this other one says,
related to Chris.
Please read the letter again. We did that. And then the last one says, what kind of hug was this? That's
right there.
But here's the thing, though. I think it all really boils down to, as well, is that this man don't seem very confident or secure in his marriage at all. Because we have to think about, like, if we're gonna be politically correct, y'all know that there's people that have been friends. Like let's talk about like white culture. There's people that have grown up next to their next door neighbor and they've been friends for decades upon decades. So if you run into each other on the holidays, y'all gonna speak to each other, may even go to a bar or something. But if that's just what it is, even if we dated while in high school, she was single in college and met her husband. I don't think that as a grown man, you need to be worried about somebody she dated in high school, especially when she does not see this man often because he doesn't live there. How often is she running into this man at her mother's house? There's a lot of things that wasn't said in the letter.
I'm thinking it's more to their relationship than just running into him at the mother's house, because there would be no ultimatum if they didn't have a continuous relationship.
Why is she feeling conflicted in the first place?
Because I think he made her stand on the fact that they're friends. So most of the time when a woman feels threatened about a friendship, it's like, well, we've been friends since 9. And he like, I don't give a damn about that. Like,
but the one,
I got
to sneeze.
One question on the screen for y'all, and we can talk through it, but I got a question because this is what will make a lot of sense. Now y'all can talk through it.
Can you be platonic friends with someone you had sex with?
Ooh. That's what we
get. No longer platonic.
That's not platonic.
It's no longer platonic.
So my point is, with the question, if they had relations together, then there is no more friendship. That's somebody who you were involved with.
That's an ex.
No, it's still friendship. It's still friendships can happen.
Okay.
In a world, so it could be a situation where it wasn't even what it was supposed to be, what you thought it was, and now they just friends.
Hey man,
they'll never want to do it again, and now they just friends. I
boned a lot of my friends.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there before. But this is the one.
But, okay, so here's the thing: you can't, by definition, you cannot be a platonic friend
and have sex.
We're
right?
Still cool.
You just can't. Like, by definition, platonic refers to a relationship that is a close friendship where there is no romantic or sexual attraction.
All right, so let's switch it up a little bit. You still in love with that person. You still in love with that person because you still be friends with them. If you still got feelings for that person, but y'all didn't make it your ex, can you really still be friends with that person?
Is D talking?
Real friend.
Yeah, D talking.
I don't know what kind of hug that was, but evidently he got more fire.
Oh no! So this is what I'm thinking that's left out of the letter is that they're a young couple. Like, they're not far removed from college. They're not far removed from high school. Because if they're in their 30s, 40s, they're not worried about that. They're not far removed from high school and college, meaning when they got married, is the other thing I took from the letter. Because for him to be that upset at the hug, I mean, 9 times out of 10, it wasn't no disrespectful hug. Because if the husband is standing right there, it's not going to be a disrespectful hug.
Hey, I know what happened. She fucked around and told me my first.
And even then, though, as a grown, secure man,
and don't forget, they said they went back and forth for hours talking about it. So through his interrogation, he found out some things, more things happened that he knew about originally.
But we're still talking about timelines. You can't control what happened before you. If I was not with you during this, I didn't even know you during this. You can question me and I can give you the full-blown spiel about it. But my thing is, again, missing from the letter, if they never see each other, don't even talk, and they still consider it a friendship because it's like, oh, if we see each other, we say what's up, we catch up outside of our parents' house, so they live next door. if it's just that and y'all don't text, talk, link up, nothing, I don't think the husband has anything to worry about to present the ultimatum.
This is what's missing.
Unless she ran to him and hugged him, since they live next door.
Dude, caught, look, that hug that they did, he caught a quick boner while they was hugging. That's what the problem was. That's what happened.
That hug was a bug.
That hug was. I mean, they either had to run to each other and hug each other or something. Something had to happen.
It was
like the husband and wife was walking hand in hand in the car. I mean, to the car.
Nope.
He was.
I'm gonna tell you. They got in that car and got to talking about the guy. Husband asked her, "Did y'all have sex?"
I
bet he asked that question.
She probably.
But see, that's one thing.
Right
I agree. I agree with y'all. I agree with y'all on that. You can't. The people that was before you can't worry about. It's you and them right now.
Like he said, if it was that far removed, like we talking about people in their 30s and 40s, you're not finna get on my ass about somebody from 20 years ago.
Right.
From high school.
From high school. That went to
they
prom
have to be,
with.
They have to be.
Let's bring up who you went to prom with. Let's make sure you don't have contact with her.
What if it was Denzel or
Chris? I think that they not.
You know me, don't care. They don't care if it's Denzel.
They not too far removed from high school.
Yeah, it has to be.
That's just a very toxic ultimatum. Like if it doesn't present a threat, I don't feel like.
But they are still friends. You can't give me an ultimatum saying don't be friends with this person if you're not still friends and talking and having conversations. They are still having conversations and talking with each other. It's not like they went to high school and this is the first time they've seen each other in 5-6 years. That's not that.
But shit, the friend been knowing longer than the husband, so shit.
Yeah.
Hey, I done told y'all.
There's a lot of toxicity.
We got the letter. I want to move beyond the letter because I wanted to address some questions that we brought on to the show
but
2 weeks ago.
Do we address the comments that our fans?
Yeah. I'm gonna get to the comments in a second. But one thing I wanted to do before we moved on and get to the comments, the letter is vague, number one, and I do believe that it's a split in opinions, and I like that because it makes for an interesting conversation. Because we have one side saying that it's okay to remain friends after you're married with someone who you had sexual relations with. And then we have the other side of the argument saying that's not comfortable, or that most men or most women wouldn't be comfortable with somebody remaining friends with people who they've had sexual experiences with in the past. And again, I take it back to that dynamic that I said earlier. I don't think men and women can really be friends because, again, you never know what the other end of that dynamic looks like. That person may still be after you, but they won't say anything about it. But still, they have to mask those feelings. So is it better to be with somebody who feels a different way about you or be around someone, or is it better to just avoid that situation totally?
But I ultimately feel like it depends on who you're with, and y'all, that's a sentiment that y'all have to set up front when y'all first start dating. Because if you have friends that you're not willing to let go of in your relationship and it becomes a problem, then y'all gonna constantly bump heads. And it's like, you should never be put in a situation where your spouse does not trust you with your friends. Yeah. But you can't be with somebody that thinks the polar opposite of that, if that makes any sense. Because I do believe that you could have dealt with somebody, it didn't mean nothing to me or that person, and be cool or be friends after that. And I'm saying there's obviously boundaries to that, but some people just don't care enough because they understand that sex don't mean as deep as most people think that it means. But again, we need to be on the same. Oh, there's Aiden, y'all. In case y'all missed him.
What's up, nephew?
Hi. What's going on?
Right. But one thing, she did come in for advice. So before we skip along from this letter, Jordan, once again, we'll start with you, Gina. Give this girl some advice, man. What would you do?
Well, I kind of agree with Jordan. Yeah, the husband should come first, but husband got to have some confidence about, and some trust there too. Don't give me an ultimatum because your confidence level is low. That's not where we're gonna go with that. But I just feel like there's more to it. But her friends should be his friends. So if he was a longtime friend, at some point in that relationship with the husband, that friendship should have been known. He should have been introduced to him. They can kick it together. You can't have a friend and I don't know who she is.
And then she just pop up.
Yeah, and then she just pop up talking about, hey, baby.
Where'd you come from?
So what kind of advice you got for you? Should she stay?
But
or should she go?
The one thing you have to really think about when you talk about stuff like that, especially if you're next door neighbors and y'all been friends since you was 9, the parents know each other, the parents know the kids. So you can have, and it's sometimes that, and you could, and I hate to use this example because this is going to defeat my argument, but the love and basketball situation, friend across the street type of situation, they grew up together, they end up being together type situation. You see what I'm saying? But you can also have it where you have a friend that you grew up, your parents know my parents know her. You know what I'm saying? We've been together around each other since we was 9. We the only people that we really knew, and now we in high school, we dated, went to the prom together. You got people that you went to the prom with when you was in middle school and your parents put it together sometimes. In the elementary school or whatever. Like those type of things happen. So for him to get so in depth and deep, I still stick with my first answer is that he has to be doing something wrong for him to crash out like that.
Damn, Dr. Love. Before you brought up that movie, he was finna forgive him. But he remember in the movie they ended up getting
he was. Yeah. That's true. Hey, look, that's why I said it defeats my whole argument, but it happens like that sometimes.
All right, so we can move on. Go ahead.
No, I'm with Chris. Something's deeper there. There's a big part of that letter missing, and it's on her side. She said something or something was said in that car all the way to the crib. It's like, hey, I got to give you an ultimatum. Look, you can go with that Negro, or you can stay with that. One of the two.
He the first one made me. Let me stop this play.
But but you want me to tell you what the real reason was? Now that I'm thinking about it more and really contemplating over it, he was her first, and she told him that in the car.
I told him.
But it's again with the confidence. Like, why are you so not confident in yourself about my first? Again, like Gaston pulled out. If they are very much so fresh out of college, and y'all only been married like 1 or 2 years, okay, understandable. But if y'all well in y'all 30s and 40s and y'all been married a while, and this person just coming up, because again, the key thing is that he came to visit his mother. He came to visit his mother, and that's how they know each other. This isn't an all the time thing, and you're just now meeting this person because he's not significant enough for us to even be talking about. I went to prom with him. Obviously discovered that, but obviously he's not significant enough for me to be talking about. I introduced you when you saw him. There's been no other time that we've seen him for me to introduce you.
And if we talking about,
it's not of significance. I think he just made it. He's just not very secure.
If we talking about prom, and she met her husband in college, it was over with after the prom.
Bingo, because prom and then graduation is right after.
Before we get back into it, what we got from Greg or Nick? Final comments on this, and we're gonna move on. We're gonna get to the comments. Greg,
Amen. Cuffing season. All right. Cuffing season don't mean it's just 1 year or 1 season. Cuffing season could be the whole marriage. Okay. So my thing is this: number one, he's insecure. But number two, she got a little guilt too, okay? Because if she has to say, I'm confused or what should I do? What the fuck do you mean? What should I do? That's your husband. You know what you should do. All right.
Right.
You know what you should do. You're a whore. Stop. Okay.
Don't do that. Hey, don't do that. Don't do that, G.
Damn, Rick.
That dude.
I'm sorry, Jordan. Go ahead, man. Y'all don't give me a microphone. Don't give me the microphone. Don't give me the microphone.
Go ahead, Nick, man. You got something to add to the conversation?
Well, my advice is protect your marriage and don't let something weird or old or stupid interfere with your marriage. If her marriage is worth more than her friendship, she need to roll with her husband. If she don't give a damn about the marriage, then stay with the friend. It's simple.
Come on, Nick.
But you always protect the marriage.
Always.
Facts.
But don't be guilted into doing some shit either, because he needs to be confident in himself. You're not guilt me about shit that ain't shit.
Well, we can't assume he don't have no confidence because we don't really know how that conversation went on the way home.
But somebody will make
reveal a whole lot of things.
Sorry, it's lagging. My bad, Nick.
Yeah.
Somebody will say something that's innocent and have you defending yourself to the end of all time, to where you have to make a choice in the end. But you like, why I got to make a choice when it's not this serious? So it's like, unless you just say like, okay, well, I choose you, so you can just end the argument. Most of the time, women be confused, or people in general, because they be like, it's not this deep for you to even be given an ultimatum.
And Nick is right. It's cut and dry. Okay, you're gonna be with your husband, or you're gonna go out there to the street. Period. It is what it is. It's not. If you're married, that's where you're supposed to be. Period. Okay. Period. Regardless of the good, the bad, the ugly, you're supposed to be there. Y'all work it out. Okay. For real. But hey, whatever, man.
Keep your damn friend. All three of y'all go to counseling and talk about it. Keep your friend. Go ahead, Joe.
Right. So we got some comments now. Let's address them. And again, we're gonna address the comments, but we're not getting back into the conversation. This one said, anytime you've had sex with someone, the souls are tied. The hug was that one kind of hug I give when I know I didn't fuck them.
We gotta live in reality. Love and
What did I say? He had a boner when he hugged her, man. Go ahead.
Jumped up that bad boy.
This next comment says, she's leaving something out. How do you go from hugging a long-time friend from school to now you have to pick? Get out of here.
Thank you.
Probably grab them cakes.
Grabbing the cakes in front of the husband is
if you run somebody from your school day,
a whole nother thing.
Hey, this next comment says, if you run into someone from your school days you had sexual relations with, then you run into that person 10, 20 years later, it is possible to be friends if you're mature and honest with the past and your current significant other. I think
it can happen.
I think that it's possible. I don't think that it's probable. I'll give you that. It's possible.
Are you sure about that, Jordan?
Hey, Jordan, I've ran into a whole lot of people I used to have sex with in high school. Yeah, there's no feeling there. Zero.
I mean, but that's on your end. You don't know
on their end too.
But you still pressed about somebody that had this
because
years ago, baby.
You wasn't supposed to get back into it.
You know, it's just the conversations that we have, Jay. Jordan, it's just the conversation that we have that I know is not there.
I hear what you're saying, but this is my thing. Because we are not mind readers, because people don't often, move directly. It's rare that someone moves directly and they'll tell you, hey, I still got feelings for you. I would like to smash again. Those words typically don't come out of people's mouth. People aren't that brazen. So my point is, even if you realize that you may not have feelings for someone, and this goes to the point where I don't really think that men and women can be platonic friends. The fact is, you don't know what that other person's thinking. You don't know if those feelings may shift once they see you again. The feelings may be out the window and they may see you again looking good, driving a nicer car, making more money, whatever the case may be. And those feelings may shift again. But no one will address it.
I got you 100%, bro, but this is the part that I'm saying. Even in that manner, I already set claim that, I'm already with somebody, I'm doing this. You can be whatever you want to be. It's not going to come from my end.
Because
so you can pursue me and come, because the thing about it is you have to set the boundaries regardless. Especially if it's 10, 20. Look, and we all know this. We see this all the time. The person that you was with or dealing with in high school don't look the same now. No. And that happens 85% of the time.
Is it a good thing to be friends with someone who you may potentially know is lusting after you?
Well, lust happens, bro. That's every day.
That's the thing.
Hey,
it's not the feeling,
but
it's the act. If you're not acting on it and you set your boundary, after that, it's out of my hands. There's nothing I can do about that because I can't control somebody else's actions.
My question is, why even be around that person?
But you see that she wasn't around him. He came to visit his mama and they ran into each other. I'm gonna make it awkward by not speaking.
I get that. Listen, I get exactly what you're saying, but I'm speaking to the point where how relationships, friendships, sexual dynamics can be rekindled over a period of time. And to me, the husband is just like, nah, I'm not even about to open this door to let this be a thing.
He ain't opening the door. If his wife opened the door, she is the problem.
That's why he addressed it the way he
did. Other spouse, what the spouse does, like at all. You can set your boundary and say, hey, if you disrespect me in this manner, it's done and over with. But you cannot prevent somebody from doing what they want to do, no matter how many ultimatums you set, no matter how many boundaries you tell them not to cross.
You're right.
They're going to cross them if they want to.
Okay. Let me inject this. What about the husband? The husband knowing his wife and knowing that body language when she got that hug from boy, something set him off. He knows her body language because he's married to her.
Yeah.
But Mo, you got to look at it this way too. The ultimatum didn't come until they had the hours of conversation. It wasn't the hug. It wasn't the hug.
When
it
I
was the
found out he was the first
that
one,
they had.
it changed the whole thing. He found out he was the first one to change everything.
It's probably because of defensiveness. If you ask your wife to do something or you ask your husband to do something, and it's immediately met with defensiveness or with pushback, something like a simple request type of deal, it does make it look like something suspicious is going on. Because if that were not the case, then why give me hours of pushback versus, you know what? Okay, I understand how you feel. Fine. I can agree with how you feel about this, and I don't have to speak to this person or be around this person anymore. Kenyatta, I see you have your hand up, so I will yield to the lady in the white sweater.
Hey, Yada, before you speak, your hair looks very nice.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead.
Because it don't always go like that. It doesn't always go like that. You act like we don't have men that have control issues, and women are put in situations, or let's not even say just women or men. Let's just say people in general have control issues. If you put me in a predicament where I feel like I got to defend myself, I'm going to defend myself. It's not giving you pushback. It's just you're now attacking my character as if I would do something to you when you should know me better than that. So why are we having hours-long conversation when you should know me well enough to know that I wouldn't violate our marriage this way? So I don't see it as pushback, and that's always the way it seems. Is like, because you just didn't bow down and say, okay, you must be doing some shit because you're giving me pushback. It's like, no, I'm not. We're having a conversation. This is a conversation because you believe that I would do something to violate our marriage. I want to know why you would think that, or why are we having this conversation? Why you feel like you have to give me an ultimatum?
Right.
Because you should trust your spouse ultimately. And that's the thing. People get into these situations and they don't even know who they with. You're not even aligned whatsoever. So y'all having these headbuttings when you should know what your spouse is capable of. And if you're okay with what your spouse is capable of, you can be like, I know that nigga's gonna go cheat. Excuse me, you're not supposed to say the N-word. I know that man is gonna go cheat.
Oh my God.
I know that man is gonna go cheat. So yeah, I'm gonna question you because I know you're gonna go do that. But if that is not in question, or you just feeling insecure and you start handing out ultimatums, you put people in a situation where they have to defend themselves and defend their character. That ain't pushback. To me personally.
Last comment real quick, Kenyatta. This says, when he hugged her, he gave the husband that wink like, yeah, I'm going to hit this soon.
You read too many erotica books.
Happens in
books. You read between the lines. That's what Juicy doing.
Hey, and this other comment here says, "What's up?" It looks like what's up, brother? How you doing? But you know what? I hear all sides of this, and don't get me wrong. Being in the relationship that I'm in has taught me a lot. I've experienced a lot of things, and I pretty much know my fiance. But what I will say is, to the point where if we have an argument about something, then it's got to be deep, because we typically don't argue. We reasonably talk through things. But from the letter that I was listening to that Kenyatta read, if it started out as a conversation that escalated into an argument, at that point, the gentleman probably sat back and realized, it's like, you know what? I'm arguing with my wife over something that I don't feel is that much of an ass. And I get the point where we're talking about being controlling and being insecure and things like that. I do know that that's an issue with some men and with some women and things like that. I get that. But my point is, if you make a simple request of your significant other, in my opinion, it shouldn't be that much pushback. That's just me. Because if you married someone who values how you feel about things and who values not ruffling your feathers when it comes to situations from outside parties, then it's not going to be that big of a deal for her to say, I understand how you're feeling. That's not a problem. I'll cut this person off, or I'll cut that person off, whether it's the man or the woman, regardless of the fact.
Because men are not doing that.
I don't think that's true at all. I think that realistically, men and women both make a lot of sacrifices to make their relationships work. But if you don't want to make those sacrifices, then at that point, your significant other's probably going to look at you a little bit.
Man, the tables are flipped. This is what I'm doing, man. Hey, I'm just finna make my wife understand, hey, look, this is my friend. I'm not finna cut off a 30-year friendship just because you're not happy with the friendship.
But can y'all, and I know Dr. Love said yes, but can you be friends with somebody who you already had sex with?
Yes, because sex ain't as intimate as people think. Like, if y'all just...
Greg said he just like,
I'm not gonna be.
It used to be that way. It used to be that way, but nowadays it's not that way. Like, people have sex all the time and don't have feelings.
Especially men.
No feelings at all, bro. And the other part, yeah, and Jay, the other part too is this. Sometimes giving your significant other an ultimatum from what you're thinking can push that person into the arms of the person that you think is going to ruin the whole situation.
Yep.
And now they want to see what you saw that they
right. And then now they're trying to get you back because they gave you that ultimatum instead of having a civil conversation and setting the boundaries instead of making the ultimatum first.
Thing.
Then, you see what I'm saying?
I think that when we talk about pushing someone away from you because you said something that they didn't like, and then going to do the thing that you said you didn't like, is just simply retaliation out of spite. I mean, let's be honest with what it is.
It is.
If you're gonna be with a partner that's gonna be retaliatory against you because you have feelings about a certain topic, you probably shouldn't be with that person. Because retaliating against someone because they've expressed their feelings, and we talk about this shit called emotional intelligence all day long on the internet.
Always.
We talk about this all day long. And one thing that I understand, I guess, about being emotionally intelligent is being able to understand someone else's perspective about a situation. The wife isn't doing that. The wife is pushing back on her husband's perspective, even if it's, hey, I acknowledge how you feel, blah, 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 this, that, and the third, this, how I'm going to move, this, how I'm going to do this. But it's more of like a pushback type of thing. And I mean, Kenyatta, I will argue that if you ask your man to do something regarding being in contact and communication with somebody who he's been sexually active with in the past, he would say, you know what? I understand how you feel. That's not a problem. I'll take care of it. Versus starting an argument with you about the said situation, because now you're going to look at the situation like, well, damn, why is it really that important to you to be in communication?
But you know what, Jordan? It all depends on how he brought it to you. If he came in a disrespectful, type of way, of course, you're not going to just be like, yeah, I understand. You have to have the right type of communication. It's not what he said, it's probably how he said it.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll sympathize with a portion of that because it is a certain way to address and handle and approach things. You're 100% right. When you go into an argument being aggressive or being belittling or being condescending or not caring about how you speak to a person, that can end way left field. But the message is still received. So even though you can say, hey, I don't appreciate how you're talking to me, that doesn't negate the fact of what's being said is what's being said and has to be addressed at the same time.
But also you have to look at it this way too. How many arguments when you're in an argument, not having a discussion in an argument, that you're listening to comprehend and not listening to respond to what the other person is saying?
Only thing you heard that he was better.
Well, I mean, again, when we're talking about mature people, when we're talking about
even mature people, Jay, even mature people.
Well, this is my point here. Mature people have conversations; they don't have arguments. Once you start arguing, you're trying to prove a point now. You're no longer trying to understand. You're trying to prove your point. And the only way that some people prove their point a lot of the time is by what? By being right or feeling that they're right. So if you got two people going back and forth and one's right and the other one's wrong, or the other one's right and the other one's wrong, that's no longer a productive conversation. You're just trying to show that you're in the right in this situation versus understanding, which that doesn't benefit you because you can be right sometimes and still be wrong.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's 100% right. But the thing about this situation is that she said in a letter that they argued for hours. Hours.
Yeah, hours. I have a scenario as well. Why are we as grown people still trying to dictate who other grown people have friendship with? And I say that to say that you sit back until there's something that sparks you to then give the ultimatum. Wow. But if you just met somebody and you ain't seen nothing, there was no inappropriate conversation, etc., you might not be okay with them being friends of the opposite sex. But it is quite delusional for you to think that you can control who your spouse is friends with.
Well, when you decide to get married, you give that authority to your mate.
No, you don't. Quite delusional. I'm still a human. I'm still an individual.
You give that authority to your mate. When you decide to get married, you get that authority. If you don't want to give it up, then stay single.
Hey Nick, I think it's not authority. It's more boundaries. You get boundaries.
It's respect. You don't give somebody authority. That's the part that's not being said here. It's respect. It's respect. And it's disrespectful for her to have a friend. If she slept with him, he shouldn't even be friends. They shouldn't be friends. That's disrespectful for her husband. That is disrespectful to her husband.
That's not true, Jim.
I don't feel like that's true.
That is true.
Because again,
it's not. What you do in high school doesn't dictate what you do as an adult.
In the future. And if they
that's true.
That's a friend.
So when you're in high school, so you telling me that when you're in high school, a person you had sex with high school, when you were young, dumb, to you becoming a mature adult affects the whole situation, is what you're telling me.
Why are they still friends?
But here's the thing:
they were friends since they was 9.
It's going to cause problems in your marriage.
But
they were friends since they was 9.
They were friends. It's like they were obviously neighbors. If we never fell out, had a falling out, and we just went our separate ways, people use that friend word very loosely. You're not my enemy. This was somebody I grew up with. I said he's a friend. That ain't mean he's my bestie. We talk every day. That's somebody I go on walks with, talks with, have emotional conversations with. People use that friendship word very loosely. And I think it's quite delusional that people are going above and beyond to think that it's something more about when it's something in the past. Allow people an opportunity to prove you wrong before you give an ultimatum. If they showed you that they can't respect the boundary, then at that point, give the ultimatum. But just based off the fact that this is somebody of the opposite sex that your significant other dealt with previously, I don't think that's grounds to just exit all communication, especially if they're respectful of your situation. Now, if they're disrespectful, they gotta go. But that wouldn't even be an ultimatum.
Yeah.
Don't bring your ex-lover into my circle.
Everybody, but see, that's the thing. That's the thing about it. So everybody that's on here is not the same person that they were when they were in high school.
Right. Don't make the same decisions either, because the men I picked in high school is not the men I would pick today.
Okay, I get that. And Nick, you was gonna say something, but it was a lot of going on when you was gonna say something. What was you gonna say?
Shit, I don't even know.
Okay.
Hey, yo, let me say this, man.
You know, but you know what? If she cherishes her marriage, I would leave old boy alone. If she cherishes her marriage and it's causing problems, that person has to be X'd out of there. You have to, let that go.
Gina, hold up for a minute.
Thank you. That just reminded me. What I'm hearing is that this friendship is so weak, it's not even worth fighting over.
Yeah, but Gina,
she barely see the guy.
Why are you giving me an ultimatum about it?
Why she fighting, trying to jeopardize her marriage?
Why you give an ultimatum about
it's a friendship.
But it's your marriage.
But
is the marriage in jeopardy? Is the marriage
my
on
new
the
friendship
line?
over your marriage?
Is the marriage in jeopardy?
But Nick, let me ask you this one question, big bro. From one meeting, this is his first time meeting old boy. All of this came about.
Thank you.
No, this came about after that conversation, after the argument.
I don't believe.
But it's still from one meeting.
But Chris,
one meeting
I do not believe that this is a friendship that was. She haven't seen him in years, and then today they ran across each other. I don't believe that. I believe it's more to the friendship. This friendship has been going on for a very long time. Why doesn't husband know this? Why haven't he met this good friend?
Because they haven't been talking. Because they haven't been talking.
Exactly, and he don't live there. So if this is my first time seeing him since me and you been married, we seeing them together.
So if they don't talk, why she fighting for him?
So what you say, Nick?
Exactly. I'm with you, Nick. I'm with you, Nick. See, Nick, you right here, Nick.
But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. The ultimatum came from, like I said, what I gathered from the whole situation is that he was probably hurt first.
He's the first, yeah.
That's what I gathered from the whole vagueness of the letter. That caused the argument to move forward to what it is. But then it goes back to what I said. If she lost her virginity her prom night, and now she met her husband in college, first year, second year, third year, senior year. Hold on, Gina. First year, second year, third year, or senior year, no matter when she met her husband, because if it's her husband, 9 times out of 10, it was what? Maybe sophomore year. Her whole freshman year, she was focused on school. And if you met your husband from your senior year up until now and y'all married, it was nothing between them that happened after prom.
But that would mean that's not a friend. That they can't be friends. Friends.
How they can't be friends, Gina? They've been friends since they was 9 years old, next door neighbors.
I'm gonna be
That's how are they still friends now? 10 years.
That's a lifelong friendship.
What you mean? They were neighbors. They grew up together, Gina. They grew up together.
And I'll go back to what you had to say. I'll go back to what you had to say. Then you're using that word "friend" very loosely.
Before we
go back and forth, because we let Gina, Dr. Love, and Keon talk. Greg, what you got?
Greg, what's up, Greg?
You really want to hear
it?
I'm being a realist, okay? Arguing, disagreement, feelings, all of that stuff. To hell with it all. I'm the cleanup man. I'm gonna watch y'all mess up, okay? And when she done, and she want to cry on somebody's shoulder, she can cry on my shoulder. All right. I will make it a business that any woman that got a problem, I'll do it right now. Y'all got problems? Call Greg. All right. I'm gonna do a billboard. I'm gonna do a commercial because y'all know I can do it. I've been in the business for a long time, okay? Call Greg, okay? I'll make you feel better, okay? I'll make you feel better.
He told y'all that he just slept with a lot of his friends now, boy. Y'all better.
Hey, look. Like I said, what I did in high school and who I am now are two different people, bro.
Two different people.
So I will sleep with your friends too. Just call
Totally
me.
two different people.
It's like you could have thought it was good, and then after that, you're just like, we're just better off as buds, and then you just became buds after that. Like,
Hey, so
But-
listen, I want to because I want to ask some of these questions that we had a part of the last show because we had an hour here and we've been going back and forth.
Hey, we can keep it moving, dog. Hey, we just gonna do this square. If Don't Live in TV got time, let's roll.
Listen. So this first question is, can you tell the truth all the time in your relationship?
yes.
No.
Yeah.
Can you tell the truth? Hold on.
Whether it helps you or hurts you.
Right.
Whether it helps you or hurts you, I'm gonna tell the truth.
You're supposed to.
I'm too old to put all that.
Give me one at a time.
I'm telling the
Give me
truth.
one at a time.
I'm done.
Go ahead, Greg. Hold on. Go ahead, Greg.
I'm too old to play. Okay, I'm telling you the truth. Yeah, you look bad in them jeans. Yes, I'm all of that. I'm telling you the truth. It's over. Yes, you ran over them hills because you gained a little weight. I mean, but I'm telling you everything. I got to tell the truth. There's no way in the world at the age that I'm at now that I should be up here lying in my relationship. My relationship, I'm sorry, is perfect in my eyes. It's perfect. I don't have a problem. Because we joke, we laugh, and this. I don't care. Tell me what's bad, tell me what's good. We're good. I ain't gonna lie. Next.
What about you, Pia? What about you?
I have learned that lying does me no good. So yeah, like you might as well tell the truth. No, but seriously, if you're with somebody that genuinely loves you for you, even though it might hurt to find out the truth, it's worse for them to find out a lie. And I've come to realize that in my current relationship, don't lie. It never gets you anywhere. They're always gonna find out, and then you're gonna fuck around and find out. They're gonna leave your ass. So it's like you get more bees with honey. They'll respect you more for telling the truth. They might be a little hurt, but you can get past that if they know the truth.
Okay. Yeah, I figure that. I'm bad at lying, dog. So I will tell the truth, dog.
Okay. So now for the people who said no, because I heard somebody say no, and my answer is also no. But
I said no.
You can't
say no.
Reason.
And only reason I say no is because it's phases in a relationship. It's the beginning phase, which is the newlywed phase, where you're trying to, like we always talk about on our show, and I hate to use the word representative in this fact, but you're basically trying to show the person that you're with that, yo, I'm with you, for you, no matter what it is. But then you get to like, when we get older, I'll be 48 in a week. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, look, I'm just going to tell you what it is. But it's phases to get to that point. You can't start off with it depends on what the conversation is about. Like Greg said, if it's clothing, all of that, oh, baby, you look good. You look great. You look like our gay weight, baby. You look good. You look great. I want that. You see what I'm saying? But if you're going to the fact of if it's something that you did that was infidelity wise, cheating wise, you gotta put it on the table. Don't hold it in, because the longer you hold it in, it's gonna mess up when you do tell it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Because you had the time right then and there to tell the situation. Like I said, it depends on the circumstances of what you're telling the truth about.
I don't know. I think you ought to tell the truth all the time, because you just go introduce, you introduce something you don't have to introduce into the relationship, and that's secrecy. I mean, I'm been 110 with her. She's been 110 with me. The success of mine, and I've been with mine for 30-something years. So my success has been being truthful, being able to communicate. The biggest thing is communication. Regardless of what, we go these little talking head things. The biggest thing is communication. And I tell any young person that's getting married, you marry your best friend and the people that you tell everything to, and it's usually all truth-based. Most of it is. So.
What about you, Jenny?
Look, we all grown. What is the reason to lie? There's no reason to lie when you're grown. When you're a kid, you're gonna lie because you don't want to get a whooping, or you don't want to get on punishment. But you've grown, so why is there a need to lie? First of all, I'm not gonna do anything that I have to lie and hide That's the first thing. So you have to realize the actions that you take, there's going to be a reaction. So if you're doing things that you have to lie, then that's where the problem is. But again, even so, you're grown. Tell the truth. What's the worst can happen?
Right.
Nah. Well, Nick, you want to go or you want me to go?
Well, you know, I say no.
Oh, okay. Why you say
Okay,
that?
Nick, you just said no.
Well, I look at it like this. Let's say your relationship only has a certain amount of arguments that it could withstand. And all these little petty arguments about shit like who left the fork in the sink or who didn't put the tissue back on the roll, shit like that, that's cutting into your allotted times to argue in your relationship. So let's eliminate the petty arguments. If it's something major, yes, be truthful about that. But look, oh baby, I cooked. Did you eat? Nah, baby, I ain't eat. No, damn well you ate on the way home from work. You work a hard day, so you work. So you stop together.
All right.
Nick, circumstances, right?
It's a circumstance. Ain't nothing. We lie, and it's a reflex. But it's a petty lie to keep down petty ass arguments and shit.
Then when I find out you lied, Nick, that I see that rapper in the car, then I'm
Hey, Jordan had that shit, man. I don't know why you left your trash in your car.
I guess you want to.
Hey, don't trip. When I initially asked this question, with me and D were talking, and I said, "Can you tell the truth all the time?" And D said, "Yep, hell yeah, 100%." And I say, "So if you know your woman cooking, and you stop to get food on the way home because you starved, I'm talking about real touching your back. You gonna tell her you stopped and got food? Hell no, you ain't gonna tell her you stopped and got food.
No,
it's something you gonna do." So yeah, I agree with Nick. There is some things that you have to tell the truth about. It's absolute. It's all the time. You should be a good fucking person to tell the truth about it. But it's other things, little petty stuff, and you know, like for example, when I planned my fiance's engagement, I had to lie a lot about what I'm doing, where I'm at, who I'm talking to, because it's a surprise party. So there are times where you may not be able to tell the truth for the sake of having a cohesive relationship, having a better relationship. But there are times where tell the truth. That's the easiest way out. But I don't think it can be every single time. Imagine if we all couldn't lie. Imagine if nobody could lie. The world will be a little messed up, in my opinion.
Even more messed up than it is now.
People ain't ready for that type of truth now. They're not ready for it. You got to be real with yourself.
I feel like stuff they had to lie about if they knew that they couldn't lie about it. Because most of the time people do stuff knowing or thinking that people not going to find out. But if you know they're going to find out, I guarantee you they'll think twice, maybe even three times about doing it.
But they'll still do it.
Yeah, some people still do it. They still do it.
Hey, you know they always try to cheat the system. So they're gonna see if they can figure out a way to cheat the system. You know you're gonna have that one. And then after that one get away with it, everybody gonna be doing it.
And it's like, did I really lie though? Because I kind of put the truth in there a little bit.
Right.
Oh yeah, if I don't tell you the whole truth, that ain't a lie. If I just tell you a piece of the truth, it ain't a lie. I can lie to you. You can't ask me about everything.
Omitting is lying. If I ask you, sorry, go ahead. If I asked you, did you come in at 7 o'clock? And you know you came in at 7:10, you're lying, telling me that you came in at 7 o'clock because you really didn't. You came in at 7:10.
But if you knew he came in at 7:10, why the hell you asked him did he come in at 7?
But you knew that I knew because I asked you, did you come in at 7? Don't lie, because that's omitting information, which is lying.
Well,
don't ask the question if you don't want the answer.
No, so the way that we look at it is like this. If you ask that I come in at 7 o'clock and I came in at 7:10, I say it's still a 7 in that motherfucker.
There you go.
This is why.
There you go.
I say rent a spoon.
Rent a spoon.
Yeah.
This is why women live longer than men.
Let's talk about
that. Statistics show that.
Go ahead.
It's a logic. Like if it was 7 o'clock or 7:10, it was still 7, so I was still right. It's like,
yeah.
Oh.
But
you was late for work and you know you're supposed to be at work at 7 o'clock, you still late.
But why would a woman Go ahead.
Go ahead, D. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sometimes I just don't understand, why do y'all act shit y'all already know?
Thank you.
Because I want to see if you're gonna lie.
I can answer that. They asked us to see if we're gonna tell them the truth.
Tell me
That's
the
the reason
truth.
why.
Now that is the reason, Chris. That's the reason.
That's the reason why they want to see if we're gonna be 100 with them.
That's insane. Don't ask me if you don't want to know the answer. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna tell you the truth on everything. Don't ask me if you don't want to know the answer, good, bad, or ugly.
I want to know the answer. That's why I'm asking.
Like some guys, like just ask you, hey, look, like you ask a woman, was he better? You really don't want to know that shit. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want to know that.
You should want to know. Don't want to step your game up. You should want to know. Step your game up.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody better than you for you, you should step your game up.
My thing is, if as long as I can still got you climbing up the walls, I don't care how good he was.
Baby, was my vagina dry? Yeah. Yes, it was very.
They don't want to know the truth.
Boy, smell a little funny in here. Yeah.
But she should want to know that so she can fix that. Like, why? I don't.
It was very dry. Why do I have to have inclusions and scrapes on my dick? I mean, I don't get it.
Wow, that's great.
What?
What? Great.
Follow-up question. Do you always want to know the truth in your relationship?
No, some shit you don't want to know the truth of, bro. Real
Do you want to know the truth all the time?
Hey, your mom said,
hey, tell me the truth so I can move the way I need to move.
The key word
in the relationship.
Give me. Don't take that opportunity from me. Don't take my choices away from me. Give me the truth so I can make a decision of whether I want to go or stay or whatever the case may be.
What you were saying, Mo?
In the relationship. That's the key word.
Hey, sometimes the truth ain't the best thing. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't need to know exactly what went on. I gave you the preview of what happened. You know what I'm saying?
No. You gotta.
You gave the trailer.
I gave you the trailer. I gave you the trailer part. Hey, what happened?
You gotta give the whole thing. You gotta give the whole thing. Like she said, like you can't take away that choice from somebody because 10 times out of 10, we know that like women accept men cheating all the time, and they honestly would be respecting it more that they tell the truth. And it's like, okay, I can forgive you, but what I can't forgive is the lie and the runaround that you gave me to try to prove that you cheated on me.
I'm gonna tell you one question. The truth. One question motherfuckers always ask. They always ask this question: how many partners do you have? Nobody. No, really, come on. How many people really tell the truth about how many partners?
Because at 30,
I'm gonna tell the truth.
40, 50 years old,
I tell the truth
about it. At 30, 40, 50 years old, why we still talking about it?
Hey, I think. Hold on, because this is an interesting topic. I said this shit a minute ago. It depends on the number of bodies, and this is to me the logic behind it.
Hold on one second, Joy.
My body count is under 2 digits.
It only
tell you that, so I'll tell you in a minute.
A man
my body count is under 2 digits.
A man can say he had 5, 10, but when a woman tell a man, "Hey, look, I had 12 bodies," that's gonna be.
I'm gonna be 100. It ain't never a problem with me. It ain't never a problem with me. We going to get tested together. As long as you clean, whatever you did before me, I ain't worried about it. As long as you clean, I tell you to tell them thank you for training you for me. I'm not worried about what you did.
Got a question. Hey, now, would you be willing to be with a person? And this is male or female. Would you be willing to be with a person that honestly tell you they got over 100 bodies?
Not in a serious relationship, no.
Hold on. This is what I'm talking about. This is the truth that most people don't want to hear. Kenyatta, I see you got your hand up. Give me a second to bring this home. This is the truth that most people don't want to hear. And I'll sit up here and argue y'all until I pass out. That most men and even some women, most men, once that number get a little too high, your chances of having a serious relationship are out the window.
It's over.
It's over with. And hold on, Kiana. I know. And the reality behind it is we need to start telling our young people, like you said, Dr. Love, the decisions that you make in high school will certainly impact you into your adulthood. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about
That's
it.
true.
Those things are going to impact you no matter what you do. Because if you go to jail at 14 years old, that's still going to impact you when you get 40. It's not going to matter what happened in between the time. It's going to impact you. And
it depends, though.
You said what?
It depends. It depends, though. I know a lot of people that went to jail at a young age that own their own businesses.
I'm not saying that you can't be a successful person, but it's still going to impact you. There's going to be trauma that you've probably experienced at that age. If you went to jail, that's going to impact you into your adulthood. That's my point.
Jordan, if you yelling that thing and 3 or 4 brothers answer, then hey, look.
What you got, man?
Wait. When you ask the question, whose own is it? And the dude said, mine.
Right, yeah, it's mine. It's mine.
What you got to say?
You put your face down and you
get go ahead, yeah.
Here's the reason why I believe that numbers do not matter. Because we only think about the consequence of the number. But there's no consequence, and typically people do not care. But it's like if you did 1,000 dicks and now they feel like your vagina stretched out, or like there's men just running around saying they had sex with you. Okay, that's the consequence of the bodies. But if you have no consequence, then why does it matter to you how many people I slept with before you? Because you can't dictate what I did prior to you. Wait, let me bring this home.
If I'm not hitting no wall, something wrong.
Let me bring this home. Let me bring this home. Because you already know what I'm about to say about the science behind that. That like babies can stretch out vaginas, but like a penis, come on now. It's not even as big as a baby's head. But
excuse me?
When the consequence, because you gotta think about it, usually we associate the consequence with like a baby, STD, or you got multiple baby days because you was having sex with 100 men. I've seen women have babies on their first time having sex. I've seen people catch an STD on their first time having sex, or they had 2 bodies and they had the same thing. The number does not matter. If you are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, I would assume you're a seasoned person. And if you're not, I'm probably not trusting you to run up in this thing anyway, because you don't know what you're doing if you're not seasoned. The only reason this conversation matters is because we always associate it to women as a downfall, but men, when they have a higher body count, we look at them as experienced. And it's like, the conversation be obsolete to me. At this grown age, why do your number matter to me? You cool?
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
I got to get out of here, okay? But I want to thank you guys, the D-Star Show. You guys have been down for us for quite some time, okay? D, you especially, when we became recipients of the National Black Radio Hall of Fame, man, you were there for us, man. This show is always going to be a part of Dope Living TV. We appreciate you guys. Jordan, I met you first, man. You know what I'm saying? We had a conversation. Didn't even know each other. We talking over a biscuit and a cup of coffee. But, literally, you guys are very, very, very much a part of our lives as well. I'm on this college tour right now speaking, and I bring up the D-Star Show all the time, okay? So, man, when they commit to letting us come out there and do what we're going to do, man, believe me, man, it's going to be so lit. It's going to be so lit. But I thank you guys for having at least the wherewithal to at least include us in your family, because you're always going to be part of our family.
Likewise, Greg, we appreciate all the opportunities and all the feedback and everything that you've done for us thus far. And I know what you'll continue to do for us into the future. We appreciate everyone of your cast members for coming on today. And even though you got to leave, I say we take this out to 1:30 because this conversation is getting pretty good. And I want to hear some of the other opinions on this body count situation. So, Greg, thank you for coming out. Dope Living TV.
Wait, hold on. Before you go, today is the anniversary of Nelson Mandela being released from prison.
Ooh, amen.
History fact. That's what we do. Black History fact.
Black History Month fact every day.
All right, family.
All right.
Yeah.
So Kenyatta, you were making a point by saying that 100 bodies, 1,000 bodies, 1,000,000 bodies really did not matter to someone who's trying to look at you for a serious relationship. before I answer this or before I respond, does anybody else have anything to say? Because me and Keanu go back and forth for a minute.
Well, we ain't going back and forth today.
Quick thing to say. Body counts matter because you're not saying I had sex X amount of times. You're saying I've been with X amount of people. So what's wrong with you that you cannot sustain a relationship that you got to have so many bodies? Why should I get involved with someone who cannot hold down a relationship? So if we have sex every day as a couple and we rack up thousands of times we had sex, that's a big difference between you having thousands of partners. It looks bad. As a matter of fact, it's disgusting.
Who does it look bad to? Does it look bad if you did that?
It looked bad to the human race. We're not animals.
It does show a lot.
But it. Yeah. My bad. Go ahead, Jordan. My bad.
Oh no, I was just gonna say one. It shows a lack of discipline, especially a lack of sexual discipline. And to the point that Nick said, I'll just add to this. I'm on a very strict diet right now. I can't eat no red meat. I can't eat nothing fried. There's a lot of foods and things that I can't eat, and it takes a lot of discipline to do this. So when we talk about sexual discipline, when we talk about body count, we talk about having the ability to say, you know what, I don't have to sleep with everyone I come across. It takes a mature person, number one. And not only that, the psychology, the mindset behind someone who is steady sleeping with people and sleeping with people and sleeping with people, these folks got to be studied. They got to be studied because I understand sex is good. I get that 100%. But once you get to the point where you've let 1,000 people enter you or 100 people enter you, or you entered into 100 different women, at some point, there's got to be something that snaps in your mind is, you know what, this is probably unhealthy. Because you're creating bonds with these people, you're creating ties with these people, and you don't actually have intentions on being with them. You're just using them. And if you want to be a user, then I guess that's okay. But that's what it is, bottom line. You don't have any discipline. You don't have any restraint. And people who lack discipline and lack restraint are often not looked upon as productive members of society, as a collective. And that's my point. And Kiana, I would say that the damage that sleeping with multiple partners has, I believe it damages, men as well as women, but I believe that damage hits harder for women, just typically because of the sexual dynamic behind men and women, the differences between men and women. And when we talk about being able to choose a good spouse or choose a good partner, I will argue that Dr. Love, D, Mo, myself, and Nick, if we were to approach somebody and people had their body counts on their foreheads, or them people higher than Gina's double digits, or higher than that figure that we got in our mind that should be allowable, them people will probably be lonely.
So I don't think so. And this is the reason I don't think so. If we walked around, because we would have to walk around with the number and if it was a disease attached to it. Because most men think a woman with a high body count is easy to get.
They got burnt.
So, yeah, and it's not about so the ones that's like 10, 12, men like, oh, I gotta work for that. Somebody to tell you, oh yeah, my body count 30, they'd be like, oh yeah, I can get that. I probably can get that on the first day. You know what I'm saying? So, but this goes back to your psychological situation that you just talked about. Because when someone tells you that body count, they're like, okay, yeah, I can probably hit that. Because I'm not going to say a lot of men, but a ratio of men are not looking for relationships all the time when they're having sex. Now, this goes back to what you said too, Jordan. More women look for relationships when it comes to sex. You see what I'm saying? So when it actually said and done for a man, some men really don't care what the body count is because they're like, oh, I can get that.
Well, I think
women.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, well, I was going to say. Go ahead, Jeff.
Some men, if they're saying they don't care what the body count is, that's because they probably don't know that actual number. But what I will argue is that any stand-up dude, and I argue with y'all for a long time about this, any stand-up dude is not gonna want to be in a serious relationship, like Gina said, with a woman who's experienced so many other men in her life. And that's not necessarily me bashing women or me saying that women should be the only ones who control themselves, because that's not true. That's not the case at all. But I will say, if you look at the dynamics between what happens between men and women when they have sex, there's a lot more emotion involved on the woman's side. And that's why I said it's a detriment for women to pour out their emotions every time they have sex with a man. And even if they're not pouring out their emotions, it's even a bigger detriment for women to treat sex like a transaction. It gets even worse for both sides. And the quicker that we start telling our young women and our young men this, maybe we'll change things. But we can't sit up here as grown adults and honestly say that the number of people that you sleep with doesn't affect your mindset or your ability to sustain a healthy relationship.
But what really will matter about a body count is where you are in your life. Are you looking for a serious relationship, or are you just want to, you want to be out there playing the field? If you out there playing the field, you don't care about the body count, because it's going to be a hit and quit anyway. Mm-hmm. Right. So you can meet somebody that got 100 body count. You don't care. We're not going to ask those questions anyway. We don't even ask those questions when we start dating or we get interested in somebody. But what you should be looking at is what their personality, what are they doing? You can hear in the office, women talk about, man, he done slept with everybody here in the office, right? And then you still have women jocking on him. Why are these women still jocking on him when you know that he has slept with every woman in the office? Because they think they got to pee, they got gold on they pussy, and this the one that's gonna catch him and keep him in the relationship.
And I would say that, realistically, Jenna, just thinking about women dynamics, and I'm not a woman, so I can't speak for 100%. Most women want the same dude. If hold on, hear me out. Most women are attracted to the same general idea of the guy that they perceive they would want to be with. And if you ask a woman, if nobody is trying to get if nobody is saying that your man looks good, your man is this, or your man is that, nobody else finds him attractive, I think that there's some shorties may be worried.
Yoda got a hand up. Go ahead, Yoda.
I see that.
I would have to disagree.
There
are some women there, because it's the same for both genders. It's a lot of niggas that want to hit women because they heard about. Sorry, it's a lot of Negroes.
That's a more word.
Month, that want women that, and I'm not saying want like in relationship, but they want to have relations with a woman that they've heard about. So you notice that she done slept with so and so and so and so because you done heard about that pussy before. Mm-hmm. Same thing with women. Men be thinking that women want the same man for the relation part of it. Now there are some women like you provided this for her, so I want that.
We talk about sexual dynamics. I'm not talking about
right. So even the sexual dynamic, yes, women want men that they done heard that they got fire dick. Absolutely, that is definitely a thing. However, it's the same thing for men. Men want women that they know got fire coochie. Mm-hmm. You ain't hearing men talking about they thrashing something that they heard was trash. And if you are, you ain't telling nobody.
That's a funny point.
Yeah, I'm made up differently. When I got into a relationship, I was in it for long term. I was married for 17 years with my first husband, and then we divorced. And then my second husband, we were together for 17 years, and he passed away. And I'm into 8 years now with my current husband. So I'm not looking to get I don't want the man that somebody else wants. I don't want that man that everybody else then had. You gonna take him. I don't want him, because when I get mine, I want it to be mine. I don't want to share.
Bingo.
So it's the makeup of that person, whether you in it for a long term or whether you in it for a hit or quit it.
It's all about what you're looking for. If you still have a dynamic, it's never gonna be for long term anyway. Because the mindset don't be right.
The point that I wanted to make there was that you find that man attractive, so I'm assuming that other women will also find that man attractive. That's
anybody though. It could be somebody ugly, and somebody finds somebody attractive. They might not be attracted to you, but they're attracted to somebody and a couple other people. I don't feel like that's really a point, because everybody's attractive to somebody.
Okay, I'll get that. I got this last question, and then we'll be at 1:30 after this. So this last question is on the screen now. Is whole phase necessary? And then this is for men and women. So again, don't think that this is just about men. This is for men and women. And I'm gonna have Nick go first because he ain't said nothing in a minute. So what you got to say, Nick? Is a whole phase necessary? And if y'all want me to define whole phase, typically is defined as sleeping with a large number of people over a short period of time.
It's necessary.
Now you asking, is it necessary for?
Is it necessary
for me to go through it, or for me
for any person to go through? For any person to go through it, is it something that is a rite of passage? Is it something that is needed to fulfill someone in order for them to move along with their life?
Yes,
it is. Okay, why?
Because if I'm having a slow season, I'm going to come on something. But as far as me going through the whole phase, it's not necessary. But like I said, hoes does have their use. So yes, I'm gonna say 50. Yeah, I'm gonna say 50.
So me personally, I say yes. My motto has always been, a man should never be married in his 20s.
Yeah.
Coming out of college. Because for one, you're not financially ready. Because you're trying to build your career because you just graduated from college at 22. Or you just started a job at 18. Either way you want to look at it. So you're not ready for the long haul. But I always said a guy should never be married in their 20s so they can get the BS out their system. Even though college is supposed to be the whole phase, is what they talk about. That 4 years in college, people would be like, oh yeah, that's supposed to be the whole phase. I believe it's longer than that because you have to build yourself up. Me, I say no marriage in the 20s, married in the 30s, because you should be where you at that time in your life and your career at that time. So I always say, and excuse me, ladies, that goes for women too, because women have to build themselves up to where they want to be in life also. Like the 20 years is supposed to be you discovering yourself as an adult, because you're we talked about earlier, the high school phase and the adult phase are two different things. And for guys, like, women mature faster than guys do. And it takes guys more time to mature. They probably made their first $1 million, $500,000 deal. Now they out here tricking and doing whatever they want to do. That's that time to have that phase. You know what I'm saying? But you might have some men that get out of college and was raised by both parents, grandmas, or whatever, and they had to be mature early. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way they was raised and what they saw growing up. Most of the time the whole phase happened because in a parent situation, they saw their father doing something, they was living with their father. They saw their mom doing something, they was living with their mom, or they was living with an auntie that was doing something out there. And you sometimes are what you see, but you don't see it yourself as that. But it happened because it happened and you saw it psychologically happen. So for me, I say yes, a whole phase is needed. Mine was a decade. Yours don't have to be. That was just for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was what I said. I was like, yeah, I'm not getting married in my 20s. I want to be at a certain plateau in my life before I get married.
I ain't calling mine no whole phase. It was more of an addiction. You know what I'm saying? Once I tried it, I kept wanting it. You know what I'm saying? It's more of an addiction. You know what I'm saying? So, but hey, you're right. In your 20s, man, because I made that mistake. You know what I'm saying? Your 20s, thinking you're gonna settle down in the 20s, it's more out there that you, as a man, you want to experience. You know, so you feel like you need to experience. You know what I'm saying? But it seemed like once you said I do in the 20s, you really didn't, because it's a lot of other stuff out there. Like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Because
still trying to find yourself.
Because at a single stage, you can react on some things, but when you say I do in married, and I actually with my ex, I'm saying that was the issue. You know what I'm saying? We got married too early. You know what I'm saying? And and it didn't work because of the fact was I wasn't really ready. She wasn't really ready. It's other people that's out there. We still want to try or do some other things, and it was like shit. You know, damn, I'm married though. But you at this age, like all my friends doing it. You know what I'm saying? My homeboy kicking it. He got XYZ girls coming in and out. You got to know as a person, hey, look, I'm done with trying to take pussy. Pussy, you know what I'm saying? Because me, it didn't stop when I got married going to the club. Every Thursday night was college night. I still went to the club. So my mindset was who I'm taking home tonight. You know what I'm saying? That was still my mindset. But now I'm looking out there, damn, my girl here with me. That's who I'm taking home tonight. But I see all the other shit out here I can be goddamn grabbing. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't ready.
Hey, so what about you, Mo?
I didn't call it whole phase either. I didn't call it, I was suing my Royal Oaks. That's what I was
Hey, look, that's the before 80s.
That's the
word for whole phase. For whole phase. Throwing your Royal Oak. That's the before the 80s name for whole phase. But I got
what about you, Jamie?
No, I never had those phases. I cherish my body too much to just be giving it to anybody.
It's not that you've had one, but do you believe it's necessary now for people to transition into being?
That answer is going to be different from a woman than it is for a man, because you know, when you guys had those phases, you know, y'all put on a pedestal. When women had those phases, then you know they look down upon. But I don't think it's necessary to have those phases. I just don't think it's necessary at all. For what reason? We go through all kind of phases, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a whole phase.
What about you, Kenya? Because I agree with Gino on that point.
Yeah, could be live.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, because I always think that women are talked down upon for having a whole phase, and men are praised and championed for it. So I don't feel like it's necessary. I think that people feel like it's necessary because they have a fear of missing out. So they feel like if they settle down now, that they're missing out on what they didn't get to experience. And some people are okay with what they didn't get to experience. So I feel like it depends on the person and their personality. Because if you feel like you're missing out and you know that you're going to go out there searching for something that you never got, then obviously you need to take your time to soak your wild oats and figure out what it is you want in life. But if you feel like that you are a monogamous person and you don't want to go out there doing that, then you may not feel like it's necessary. You're like, okay, I'm with this person. This is who I want, and that's who I'm dedicated to. I don't need to search for what I didn't have. So I don't feel like it's necessary. I feel like it just depends on the person, what they feel like they need for themselves.
Okay, and listen, I hear y'all fellas, but I'm with Gina and Kenyatta on this one, and it's more so about the fact that you can enjoy your life, you can get experiences, you can gain values in your life, and you can be single without having to sleep with a bunch of people to do that. The reality is that there is going to be a time in your life where you probably will have relations like sexual relationships with more people versus a different time in your life. But is it necessary to become an adult? No, I absolutely don't think it's necessary. Because when I talk to some older people, because I'm kind of old, y'all may put it together, but I'm kind of old at heart. When you talk to some older people, some of the best relationships that have lasted through decades, through the ages, were from a person getting with a person, that person just being their person. And again, if that doesn't work for everyone, that's totally fine. But back to that body count, running that number up just because you feel like you have to, or just because like you were saying, your friends is doing it, you're peer pressured into it, does not necessarily mean that you're going to be any better off in your life. Reality is, I said it earlier, that mentality behind both men and women is going to be difficult, and it's going to be wearing on psychology when it comes to your access to being able to sleep with men or being able to sleep with women. When we talk about these whole phases type of deals, yeah, you can run those numbers up. But the question I would have is, why do you feel like you need to? Why is your value tied to how many people you do or don't sleep with at a period of time in your life? And I don't think that it's necessary, again, because you sleeping with as many people as you can in a short amount of time, what does that do for you? What does that do for you? For either the man or for the woman? I think that it deteriorates our values on the other person. It makes you see people as just a sex thing versus actually potentially getting to know that person or wanting to be with that person. Because the sex could be great, but the personality behind that person could be shit. Yeah. Or vice versa. The personality could be great and the sex could be trash. So again, when we're running these numbers up and we're saying, well, I got to do my thing and this, that, and the third and blah, 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 whether it's men or women, I do agree with Gina and Kenyatta that women do get criticized way more for it. And again, I made my point on that during the last question that I asked. I'll give you that, but I don't think that it's something that is necessary to have. I get that you should have experiences across the board, as a man and a woman, if you want to please your partner, but getting a bunch of bodies in a short period of time is kind of diabolical, man. It
is, but this is I'm not going to say the fact behind it. It's pretty much what we've been talking about this whole time here. What Yada said and what Gina said. When you have somebody that's good at it or have somebody that's bad at it, the person that's dealing with the bad person is looking for somebody else. The person that's good at it is being told that they're good, and they're telling their friends or people around them that's good. And then now he's fighting off other people. It's not a way that, okay, like you said it here, isn't necessary. It just happens that way. Like men, our way of thinking sometimes is that we're always on the hunt. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? When it comes to women, we're always on the hunt. So we see a woman, first thing we think about is not first thing we think about, but when we see a woman and we're physically attracted to them, we're trying to get them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it comes in with the body count. That's where it comes in with the phases, because most men think like, yo, once I hit it, okay, I got it. What's next?
But this is my thing, and I get your point. Where do we start telling people that you need discipline? And I'm not even talking about just sexual discipline. When we talk about discipline as a society, that's not eating too much. That's building healthy habits like drinking water, eating healthy foods. That's going to the gym. That's sticking to a routine. That's committing to something. And people who lack discipline to do things oftentimes don't end up with a greater quality of life as the people who can show some level of discipline.
But how often do you find someone that can be disciplined right off the bat?
Well, it's gonna take time, but if you're not working at it at all, then you're never.
Takes the whole. Wait. It takes the whole phase to make you be disciplined because you like I'm tired of this. You have to be tired of something to become disciplined.
I get what he's saying.
I'll say this much.
He's not saying it's necessary. He's saying that he's not saying that you need to just go fuck 1,000 people and that's just that. He's saying that you need to have the experience so you can develop the discipline. If you never endeavored on that, then how would you develop the discipline to not do so?
Let me say this. I get what you're saying, but I don't think discipline is a thing that necessitates a long period of time. So if you've slept with 200 women in a short period of time, I would say within a month or so, not a month or so, a year or so. A year or so. A year.
Hey, look, Jordan. Even a year is like wow.
But that's my point. So at some point you gotta start telling yourself, okay, do I need to do this? Is this something that I need to survive? Can I do something different? Am I able to control my urges and control my actions to get me to a better spot in my life? Because a lot of prominent men, a lot of great men and women in their lifetime have succumbed to not being disciplined sexually or whatever the case may be, and look at where they are now.
Well, I mean, but you got to look at it this way too, Jordan. No, you got to look at it this way. It's a lot of women and men that's in the pornography industry that's married, and they got bodies on top of bodies that you can see. Literally. You see what I'm saying? It's not. Yeah, but this is the way I'm going with it. The way I'm going with it is this. It's not about. I get what you're saying with the discipline part and all of that, but is it easier to be disciplined, or is it easier to be like, all right, I'm gonna go do this? Like, to have the discipline that you're talking about, you got to have a mental, spiritual, all of that has to be there. It just don't happen now. You know what I'm saying? You got people out here that are just go out and be like, yo, this is what I'm doing right now. You know what I'm saying? I have to experience this to see if I like this, because you might get it for the first time and it's the best thing you ever had. It's pretty much like the joke that Eddie Murphy used to tell. If you've been starving your whole life, somebody give you a Ritz cracker, you say, oh, this is the best damn Ritz cracker I ever had before in your life. And then if you eat that every day, you get tired of it and be like, oh man, I want a saltine, I want a sandwich, I want something different. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You have to build up to it. You know what I'm saying? It's not just, now I get what you're saying. You got some people that was mentally disciplined because they was raised that way when they were younger, up until now. They had that example there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you got a lot of people that didn't have that example, so they basically, it's like you're living it, you're going through it while you're living it, because you didn't see that example. You didn't have the blueprint on how to be disciplined and do this and do that and do the other. Because to some people, sex is an addiction, like drugs, like alcohol, like all of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's really levels to the discipline, but you have to go through it to be like, yo, I'm tired of this. We had Michael Collier on our show. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. We had Michael Collier on our show, and a lot of people didn't know that he was an addict for 29 years out here doing comedy. Man. It was a point where he was like, man, I can't do this no more. You know what I'm saying? And he was a functioning addict. You have functioning sex addicts out here. So, I mean, like, it's different levels to it.
I get that.
Go ahead, yo.
My question, because I understand both things, and I feel like both things that we're all saying are correct at once.
Most definitely.
I feel like it does start when you're young and you're an adolescent or even just growing up. If you never have anyone teaching you discipline, it's not something that just happens. It's something that is a learned behavior. And we see that all the time, especially with little boys, that people promote them to be promiscuous and to be more sexually active. They have to then do some reverse psychology in their own head and then learn to have discipline because they were taught to be sexual beings. Same thing with girls. If you were taught to be fast, and to be a sexual being too, you have to then teach yourself to have discipline to not act the way that people were promoting you to act. So I think that this is a question that it has so many different perspectives and dimensions to it. But it really boils down to it's not something that you just have. It's something that's taught.
Yeah. But all right, guys, man. Hey.
I just want to talk all night. I'm not gonna talk no more. I'm gonna read these comments just so we can acknowledge the listeners, and we're gonna be out. Rico Martin always joins the show. Nick, what's good, man? That's Rico Martin. He always joins the show. Shout out to Rico, man. He ain't missing episode.
We gotta send the size so we can send the merch. We gotta send the merch.
Next comment, TJ said, "Yo, Nick again." Let's see. TJ says yes. I don't know what he said yes to. Maybe he'll respond later. And it says, y'all putting too much thought into this question. Okay, all right. And then it says, everybody here did somehow activities. He
wanted to say hoe. He wanted to probably say hoe activity.
Yeah. Everybody here did some hoe activities is crazy. Speak for yourself.
And Rico Martin says, appreciate y'all. Listen, this has been a wonderful conversation. I would love to do this again. I appreciate Dope Living TV. Gina, Mo, Dr. Love, thank you for coming out. Kenyatta, also always a pleasure to have you on. And any last comments, man? Anything anybody want to say before we close out?
It was a pleasure.
Hey, man, I enjoy y'all show, man. You know what I'm saying? Like when Greg told us about it, we was like, yeah, most definitely we get on D's show. You know what I'm saying? That's family all day, every day. He's like, what time? He's like, as soon as ours over with, because we normally do a meeting on what we're gonna talk about the next show or who we're gonna think about having next week. We was like, no, let's go on and jump on D's show. He support us. We got to support him the same way. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we're here, and I enjoyed every minute of it, man, because we were able to really, dig deep into some real conversation and issues that we have as humans.
Yeah. And we left
a lot of said.
A lot of perspectives on each other, man. Hopefully we can take that back and think about how we think about things a little bit differently. But
most definitely.
If nothing else,
argue with y'all again.
If nothing else, it's been another episode of the D Stark Show, man, and we out, baby.
Peace.